After getting back to winning ways against Portsmouth on Saturday, Rovers returned to home soil to take on table toppers Ipswich Town at the Keepmoat Stadium. Rovers have lost just one of their opening 5 league games and have their sights set firmly on another 3 points in what is their second of 3 games in the space of a week. Good evening and welcome back to the Keepmoat Stadium, and thank you for joining us for our pre-match coverage ahead of tonight's game against Ipswich Town in Sky Bet League One. I'm delighted to welcome alongside me Doncaster Rovers reporter for the Free Press, Liam Hoden, and Rovers defender and manager of the Doncaster Rovers Bells, Andy Butler. Liam, I'll start off by looking back at a positive week for Rovers, the win against Portsmouth at the end of a week where we'd seen 2 signings and keeping hold of Ben Whiteman.
Yeah, superb week on the transfer front, first of all. Adding that depth that I think everybody knew that were needed, particularly in that central midfield role with Matt Smith, but another exciting winger in Josh Sims, and we saw how much of a part he played at Portsmouth in setting up that goal, keeping hold of Ben Whiteman. It's a bit of a cliche now, but that's probably the best bit of business that Rovers have done all summer. And then capping it off with another really good performance on Saturday.
We'll look at that Portsmouth victory in a bit more detail later on, but I think as that clock ticked down to 5 o'clock on Friday, Rovers fans were just hoping that Whiteman wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think we knew probably middle of the week that it was unlikely that he were going to move on after that interest at the early part of the week, and it seemed like Barnsley had gone away after that. But yeah, it's certainly a sigh of relief. You never know what could happen in them last few hours, but yeah, real positive with that one.
But from a player's point of view, keeping hold of Ben, you've seen his development from close up in the last few years. What's that done for morale in camp?
Yeah, I think Ben's been instrumental in everything we've done over the past few years. He keeps improving. His passing range is incredible. I don't think there's a better passer in League One and in Championship. You'd put him right up there as well. He's got a calm influence about what he does. He's always asking for the ball, and he's a good lad to have amongst the group as well. You call him experienced. I think he's only 24, 25. So yeah, you look at him and think he's got a calm head, old head on young shoulders. So it's vital that Doncaster kept him and we have them.
And with the additions of Matt Smith and Josh Sims as well, competition for places all around the squad is really good at the minute.
Yeah, Josh and Matt have come into the group and settled in really well. We saw them on Friday morning, so we didn't know anything about them. But then you look at the pedigree that they've got. Obviously Premier League experience. I think they're 2 great captures, and they should be really exciting. I know Simo played at Portsmouth at the weekend and set up the goal. So hopefully we can continue that and really, like I say, add competition for places.
On those 2, Liam, they're a slightly different pedigree than the previous loanees, if you like, albeit still young. They've got a little bit more experience than the ones that have come in before them. Yeah,
Josh in particular, with his 20-odd games for Southampton at Premier League and Europa League level. It is a different level. It's unfortunate to get an injury at that point, or he could still be playing Premier League football regularly at this point. That's how much he'd impressed when he broke through. And Matt Smith, 10 international caps, 10 senior caps for Wales by the age of 20. That's not bad experience at all.
Don't forget, you can make sure you don't miss a minute of the action against Ipswich Town tonight by purchasing an iFollow Rovers match pass for just £10. Of course, we want fans back in the stadium, but that is the best way for you to keep involved and make sure you don't miss a second of the action tonight. Now, Darren Moore, of course, on the back of that result at Portsmouth, a very happy man. And let's take a look at the best bits from that win, including an incredible strike from Reece James. A brilliant victory on the road for Rovers then at Fratton Park. Liam, you had to watch the game from afar, but what did you make to the performance as a whole?
I think it was really good. I think we saw a lot of elements that we'd seen in previous games in terms of a really good start, really great passing play in that first half. And what was probably more pleasing than anything was how resolute and steely the side were after the break when it became a little bit more competitive. In the two previous defeats, that's kind of where Rovers fell short a little bit. But to see that what had been worked on over that 10-day period that they had, fantastic to see that implemented and getting that all-important goal when they needed it as well, showing that streak of ruthlessness that's also been kind of lacking in those two previous games.
But we know that Portsmouth from last season, should we say direct style, was a lot of work in the build-up, I'm sure for you as well as Tom and Joe, in dealing with that sort of system. Yeah,
we obviously Darren and the gaffer and Sivy do the homework, and we knew what they were. We had a full 10 days to work on what they were going to bring. We knew they'd be direct, and I thought the back four was excellent in dealing with every single ball. Tom and Joe worked well together. Cameron up and down, and Brad, as I thought, was excellent as well. They dealt with everything they had. Harrison went off, and John brought on, and I thought they dealt with John as well. I think they've been really good at the back so far this season. I think they've been composed and calm and playing football how the gaffer wants them to do. So yeah, it was a positive performance, like I say. We had lots of information on how they were, and it paid off. We knew what they'd be, and we dealt with it. And like I said, the first half was really dominant from us, similar to the other games. And the second half, I thought we battled them, but we had that ruthless streak in us and that clinical finish from Jamo.
Hodes, we seem to talk about Tom and Joe every week on this show. Do you feel that when John Marquis came onto the pitch, that maybe suited them a bit better in terms of what he offered as opposed to Ellis Harrison?
I think they seemed a lot more comfortable in dealing with it, and he never really had a sniff, John, at that point. Joe seemed to handle that sort of physicality element that John brought really well. It just seemed to play into Rovers' hands, and Portsmouth never really looked like scoring from that point.
The goal from Reece James, I think a lot of eyebrows were maybe raised that he was playing in an advanced position from the start on Saturday, but he took it like a centre forward, didn't he?
It was brilliant. What I really liked were when you watch it back, how he sort of checks his run and stops, allows his marker to run on, and he's there and free in that space. Great thinking from him in that point, and then fantastic finish.
And of course an assist from Josh Sims, who we'll come on to a bit later on, but against Portsmouth as well, an ideal start for him.
Yeah, I spoke to him today, and he had plenty of messages from Southampton fans about that one. He said plenty of Southampton support for Rovers on Saturday.
How much of a difference do you feel it made at Fratton Park not having the 16,000, 17,000 fans breathing down your neck, particularly at 1-0 up in the last few minutes? If that's a full house, you maybe crumble late on, but it was very different on Saturday.
It was. I don't know about it really, because I think sometimes that level, that intensity of support can sometimes seems to keep players on the game a little bit. Rovers have been in that position before down at Fratton Park where it's been tight, close, but have always stayed switched on. So I think it not necessarily played into their hands. I think it could have gone either way really.
With Ipswich Town providing the next test for Darren Moore's side here at the Keepmoat Stadium, the manager believes the Tractor Boys will arrive at the Keepmoat Stadium full of confidence after a win against Accrington Stanley last time out.
Yeah, they're a good team, experienced manager, strong team at this level. You know, they've started the season very, very strong. And I'm sure that, you know, from their perspective, they'll be looking to have another strong season this year. They've started really well. They're in the ascendancy. I would imagine the confidence is high in the camp. And it's two good teams, like Lockheads tomorrow, Lockhorns, so to speak, tomorrow, and contest it. And it's going to be a good game tomorrow night. I'm sure it will be, because, again, you know, you got both teams in good form and had solid starts to the season. they've still got talented players and intelligent players that recognise that whatever the manager asks of them, whatever shape and system the manager asks of them, they can perform it. And they've shown they can perform it because they've gotten good results over it, you know. So whatever team Paul puts out tomorrow night against us, it'll be a game that we know here at the Rovers that we're going to have to be on top of our game because we're playing a team in good form tomorrow evening. I mean, I didn't realise that was the 50th game on Saturday, so I didn't realise at all. But such is the nature that I just look at games. It's just on to the next one, Mike. I don't really harbour too much on the other side of it. It's just on to the next game. So for that to be like sort of the 50th game in charge on Saturday, I was unaware of it, to be honest with you. So we just keep moving on and keep working.
A tough test upcoming then for Rovers tonight. Liam, Ipswich, about as tough as it gets at the minute. Five wins, 1 draw, unbeaten so far.
Yeah, really, really impressive start from them after being very, very inconsistent last season. They've kind of hit the ground running. They've been lacking sort of forward options and still managed to do this. And they're also not conceding many goals either. It's been a really good start from them.
Of course, they're probably most people's fancies for being up there. They started last season well and seemed to drift off. I think they finished 11th in the end, but with the budget they've got and obviously the fan base aren't allowed in at the minute, but albeit a former Premier League side, you would expect them to be up and around it at the end of the campaign.
They should be up there, and they should have been up there last season with the quality of players that they had. But we've seen before, it's not that easy to get out of League One at the first attempt. But yeah, they seem to have really sort of hit on a formula this season, and you'd imagine that they will sort of be able to last the course and at least be challenging by the time May comes around.
But how much will that win at Portsmouth stand Rovers in good stead for the game against Ipswich? Of course, you're going up against teams twice in a row who will be fancied to be up there at the end of the season. We've got 3 points from the first game. Another win tonight puts Rovers in a really good position.
It does, yeah. The Portsmouth game, obviously we've worked hard there and got the 3 points. Now we capitalise on the home game tonight and really push on again. If we get 6 points from these 2 games, I think you'd look back and think, wow, some achievement. And that's not me building in Doncaster. I think we deserve to be where we are at the moment, and we've got a game in hand, and we're still up there in the league. Ipswich will offer a different test to Portsmouth. They'll be direct. We've done the homework on them, and we can see weaknesses in where they are, and we'll try to exploit them on the night.
When games are coming so thick and fast at the minute, how much can momentum help you? A win on Saturday, potential, obviously another game coming up thick and fast. You start to get a few wins on the bounce, and like I said, you're going to be right up there. Yeah,
a few years ago we said winning becomes a habit, and it does. You go into every game confident. I know Ipswich will be confident because they've got a great start to the season as well, but I believe we're playing some really good football at the moment, and I think it'll be a tough test, but I think one will come through on the other side.
Liam, back at the Keepmoat, of course, a win here last time out. It seems an age ago now, that win against Bristol Rovers, but it was a really commanding victory as well, wasn't it? I think Darren Moore will be looking for more of the same when they face Ipswich. Yeah,
really good performance in that one, and made it count as well, all the pressure. Darren Moore actually saying afterwards that he thought Rovers could have had more goals than the 4 that they got. I think that demonstrates the dominance on that. Probably won't be like that again tonight, but you never know. But what the lesson from Saturday is, take your chances when they come, because it could be all important tonight.
Rovers have been maybe slow starters in terms of goals in the first few games. Certain performances have been good in the first half, not so good in the second. I think Saturday was a good performance all round, with maybe a couple of exceptions in 5 or 10 minute spells, but against a team like Ipswich, a good start's going to be really important.
Yeah, you don't want a team to get on top and kind of be able to sort of boss you out of the game. We've seen that on a couple of occasions, and Rovers have got the quality to make that good start. We've seen it, and we've seen it recently as well. So hopefully they can come through on that front.
We mentioned the strength in depth earlier on. Darren Moore's admitted Tyrese John-Jules is going to be out for a couple of weeks now. Fahiri Okunabiri's got a really big chance in these next few games, hasn't he, to try and stake his claim for a more regular place in the starting 11.
I know a lot of people have been calling for Fahiri to get that start on a regular basis, and this is his opportunity. We know that we've seen the quality that Tyrese has got, and he'll be pushing as soon as he's back and available fit. So Fahiri's got to do what he can in this next couple of weeks to really keep hold of that place.
Now, winger Josh Sims marked his Rovers debut with an assist for Reece James's winner at Portsmouth just a few days ago, and he's hoping he can add a bit more of the same in the coming weeks.
I've always grown up being a winger, so I've always enjoyed watching players in my position, and it's always exciting for the fans to, hopefully I can bring that to them. I got the assist against Portsmouth, and that's something that hopefully I can build on now and create some more goals and score some goals as well. So hopefully I can keep bringing that to the team, and hopefully the fans will enjoy it. It's a good sort of group of boys, so the competition's strong, which is always better for a team when there's good competition, because you don't want people sort of being lazy, basically expecting to play every week. So there's a lot of games coming up, and the gaffer's been sort of strong in saying that there's going to be a lot of rotation, because it's going to call for it being 2 games a week now for a few weeks coming. It's going to be a big team performance, to play well. So everyone's got to be ready. So it's good that we've got competition. We've got positions that there's multiple players there, so everyone's got to be ready to play. It's all well and good being quick and having the speed there, but you need the end product as well. You need to be able to put in a good cross, or we need to find and pick players out. So that's something when I've been younger, I've tried to work on, is my end product. Not just having the speed to get there, but then make a bad pass or bad play. You need to finish off the action. So hopefully, like I said, that assist is sort of a glimpse of what I can do. But that's obviously just a start. I need to build on that and do it regularly.
Josh Sims then looking forward to more action in a Rovers shirt. Liam, just how impressed were you with his little cameo appearance at Fratton Park?
Really good. To say that he's not played a great deal of football over the last 6 months, he hit the ground running with that one, and played such a big part in that goal, not just laying the ball on, but making that initial challenge in midfield to put Rovers back on the front foot. Were really good, impressive sort of second half performance from him.
I think it was Ben Whiteman's pass that found him, but then the sort of composure to pull it back for Reece James showed the quality that he possesses. Yeah,
because we know that he's a direct winger. Sometimes they've got one thought in their mind, and that's to run towards goal and get a shot away. But he spotted the run of Reece and timed his pass brilliantly.
But just what have you made to him? I know he's only had a few training sessions so far, but Darren Moore couldn't have asked for much more from him on Saturday.
No, I thought he had a good impact in the game. He, like I said, he was direct. He ran to that position and gave him something to think about. His pass for the goal was brilliant as well. But yeah, he's been impressive in training. He looks sharp. He looks quick. Finishes really well. So I think it's a really good addition to the squad. And like I say, he's got experience in the Premier League as well. You can't ask so much more in that. But no, I think he'll suit us down to the ground. To be fair, he's learning really well. He's already listened and understanding. He's asking questions during training. So he's a really down-to-earth kid as well, which again is what they're trying to bring to Doncaster Rovers as a group, learning. And I think he'll do well this season.
Of course, he's got players here who he can learn from as well, in Cops in particular, who's played most of his career on that right wing, so he won't go far wrong if he takes some tips off Cops.
Well, now he actually looks like Cops as well from a distance. We keeps calling him Cops Junior.
Liam, since his arrival, of course, I'm sure James Coppinger and such like will have been looking over the shoulder and thinking it's another body in to try and put the pressure on, and I'm sure that's exactly what Darren Moore wants.
Certainly does, certainly, and we've talked about it today with him in terms of the 6 loanees that he's got. There's pressure on all the time and competition among these loanees to get it part of the squad, and it's added that into that wide area that we know is such a big part of how Rovers play. Can only be good things for this team.
Now, elsewhere at Club Doncaster, Andy's Bell's side have got their season off to a solid start. Here are the highlights from their most recent home league victory over Long Eaton United. But it's a solid start to the season, as we said. You took over midway through last season. What sort of improvements have you seen in your time as a manager there so far?
From when we took over, I think it's chalk and cheese, if I'm being totally honest. Nick and myself came into the team, and they were so devoid of any confidence, any sort of understanding how they wanted to play. I think it was a bit of an eye-opener for me and Nick, and rightly so, when we took over and lost 12-0 to Huddersfield Town in the first game we took over. But from then on, we've tried to implement our philosophy and where we want to go with the players and how we want to do it. And I think the players have took the information on really well. They listen, they're all really receptive in how they take on information and then apply it on the match days. It's a joy to watch sometimes, and like I said it in my post-match interviews before, it makes you feel really proud, because it's a true representation of how I want to manage and how I want my team to play. And along with Nick Buxton, who's been brilliant for me as well, we try and get the message out there that we're footballing side, but we're footballing side with a purpose as well.
Of course, a fairly big turnaround in between league campaigns. How have you managed that? And have you maybe taken advice from Darren and his coaching staff and maybe get a few pointers here and there, or would you prefer to be your own man when it comes to management?
No, by far off. I'm not the finished article at all. I'm just literally starting off. So I've taken little bits of advice from every manager, every coach I've ever worked with, and I still use that in my training sessions. I'll use the good points that I've picked up along the way, and not use the negative things that I've found that don't work. So yeah, Darren's always said if I need help, his door's always open, and Sylvia has said he's come down and watch a few training sessions to see if he likes what he sees, because ultimately that's what I want to do, and I make no bones about it. I want to manage and coach football. I want to stay in football as long as I possibly can, and Doncaster Bells is a avenue that I thought it'd be foolish to turn down. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy seeing the players develop and improve week in, week out.
Of course, staying close around Club Doncaster, even when you weren't with Rovers as a player, did that help the sort of transition into being back with the club in the summer?
Yeah, it all fitted well for myself on a personal point. I live 5 minutes from here. I coach the academy. Obviously, I can't do it right now because of the 2 EFL bubbles. But once that calms down, I'll hopefully be back in the academy as well. But yeah, you're right. Everything seems to click, and if I can emulate what Rovers are doing into the Bells, then it's surely going in the right direction, because Rovers are flying at the moment, and hopefully we can, like I say, emulate some of the qualities that Rovers have brought out.
Liam, just on to tonight's game finally then, how do you see it panning out, and how resolute will Rovers have to be to get 3 points against Ipswich?
I think they're going to need a lot of elements from that game on Saturday. Resoluteness, like you say. It'll be competitive, we know that. Obviously Ipswich are absolutely flying at the minute. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be tight. So I could easily see a draw tonight, but we'll see. We'll see. Rovers, a lot of confidence coming into this one, and you back them to at least give it a good go.
Is that what you're going to go for then, a draw?
Yeah.
Scoreless or?
1-1.
1-1. Liam Butts, thanks for your company. Head over to iFollow Rovers now then for full match coverage of tonight's game against Ipswich Town, live on iFollow Rovers from 7 p.m.